All right, now I want to show you a couple plants that stuff that I bought, and this is a Pink Whisper Potentilla. I bought these from one of my customers this spring. They were probably that big. Potentilla is kind of an amazing plant because it's just a little wiry thing, and then by the end of the season, it completely filled this pot. And it was probably this big, and just yesterday we cut this thing in half. We're getting them ready for winter because come spring, we want them to just explode with new growth. So anyway, I bought these from one of my customers down in Central Ohio. I think I paid like 90 cents for them. And we sold a ton of these. We bought Pink Whisper and Goldfinger. Again, this is a great little item. Even if you only grew one kind of plant, this is a good item because it starts flowering in June, and these were in bloom when we trimmed them yesterday. So great little item, and again, we've got them in that $4.97 pot. These are blueberries. I bought the blueberries from the same customer. Great seller for us this year. Again, they were this big. We cut them back hard because we're getting ready to get them through the winter, and then come spring, we want them to flush out and be really nice. Now this is a Snow Angel Euchera. This is a perennial. Great seller. Now look at how nice that plant is, and it's in that $4.97 pot. You don't need that big container. People love this. They go crazy over being able to buy stuff in this size container. Now, I also bought some redbud trees from the same customer down in, and this is the only one I have left out of probably 100 that I bought down in Central Ohio. This is a Eastern redbud. Great seller. People went crazy over these things. I bought them for, I don't know, maybe $1.20. I don't really remember. Sold them for $4.97. People went nuts over this thing. So I just ordered another couple hundred of those last week. They're going to be delivered here soon. This plant, now this is a boxwood. I bought these this spring. This is an evergreen. It's slower growing. Keep in mind, the slower growing the plant, the more in demand because it takes longer to produce it, so there's usually a demand for them. But I'll tell you what's really special about this plant. This customer of mine down in Central Ohio, she started with me a number of years ago, ordered a bunch of cuttings, and within 6 weeks she sold like $1,300 worth of cuttings. And she had her 15-year-old daughter helping her. And at one point her daughter said to her, she's like, "Mom, are you sure this is legal?" Well, guess what? That young girl, that 15-year-old girl, is now probably about 22 years old. This spring, when I ordered all these plants from her mom, she didn't have the boxwood that I wanted, so guess where she got them? She went over to Rachel's house and she got them from Rachel. Rachel has her own house, she has her own backyard nursery, and Rachel was excited that I was buying plants from her, but she wasn't near as excited as I was because this girl was 15 years old. Today she's 22 and she's got her own nursery in her backyard selling. Her mom sells thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of plants, and I'm sure Rachel does too. I haven't, I don't know all the details, but I know these came from Rachel, and I'm proud of that this young girl learned what I taught her mom and is going to carry on that tradition. So anyway, those are just some of the items that I bought from a customer. I'll take you in the back. I'll show you a few more items. I'm gonna tell you about how I got into the $4.97 plant thing, because years ago I had nursery stock in the ground, and I had dogwood trees and Japanese holly and burning bush, and I had a buddy of mine and I were doing them together. So every night after work we go to in his backyard where we had some of the stuff. We dig, be out there with spades and burlap digging stuff up. I'd load the truck. We had some wholesale customers, and we sold a ton of that stuff. We sold thousands and thousands of dollars worth of that stuff. And I sold some from home. I had a sale in my driveway, and of course you may not be able to do that, so don't let that discourage you, because there's a million ways to do this without doing that. But I had all these bigger plants around there, and then one day I had some burning bush, and they were in a container. This is a nice little burning bush right here, and they were in a container just about this size, but they were just a little bit bigger than this. Now next spring this plant is going to flush out and it's going to be nice and full. So anyway, I set these things out there for sale, and I had about 400 of them, and I put $4 a piece on them, and just to see what would happen. People went nuts. They were buying these little tiny burning bush like crazy for $4 a piece. And when we finished selling plants that spring, I told Pam, I'm like, all right, guess what? I said, I've loaded my last bald tree in the trunk of a car. From now on, we're going to put stuff in these small containers. We're going to sell it for $4. And if they don't, if the customers don't want it, then we're done. I'm done lifting bald trees. I've been doing it since I was 16. I'm done lifting bald trees. Well, guess what? They went crazy over the concept. They love being able to come out and buy plants for $4. Now, this is where you come into the picture. We've got people all over the country. We need somebody in every single city and town in America doing this and providing these plants to people. And if you can't sell from home and have people come into your house, doesn't matter. You can sell these plants. This plant will go for $4.97. You could wholesale this thing hundreds at a time to people for $2, $2.25, $2.50, $2.75. They can still sell it for $4.97 and make great money on it. So that's where the whole idea behind the $4.97 plant came from, is that I realized that people like being able to buy that. Not everybody. Some people want great big plants, but what you do is you create, we have people who do co-op plant sales. In other words, I got a guy that's 40 miles from here, and he's going to have a plant sale. I can load up, 300 of my plants, go to his place, set up shop, sell them for $4.97, and at the end of the day, give him $1.50 for every one that I sold, because he let me sell from his place. Because not everybody can do this from home. Everybody's allowed to garden at home. To my knowledge, I'd hate to think that that's illegal somewhere. But you can garden at home. You just can't, a lot of people can't sell plants at home. They can't have retail customers come into your house. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, having people come to your house isn't the greatest thing in the world anyway. So don't even think that you have to do that. But I've got people who are constantly looking for plants like this that they can use to pot up, because they've got a market. They got a place to sell them. This spring, I had this is bunny grass. I had some bunny grass that I planted in a bed. I pulled them out and we tore them into little tiny pieces. Little tiny pieces. Potted them up. Look at this. We just sold a bunch of these for $4.97. My cost for the plant was like nothing, because all I did was took a bigger plant and tore it into a zillion pieces. So again, look at the roots coming out of the bottom of the container. I mean, this stuff is going nuts. But again, people love ornamental grasses. Ornamental grass is a great item. This spring, I was looking for a few juniper to put in a landscape planting here at the nursery. And I went to see a couple of wholesalers in this area. Everybody had them in a 3-gallon container, because they told me that's how landscapers want to buy them. I'm not sure I believe that, but I'll tell you what, paying $18 on the wholesale market for a blue rug juniper is just plain nuts. So I went out and I found some for $1 a piece, potted them up, put them in these containers. We already sold a bunch of them this fall. We'll sell a ton of them in the spring. We took cuttings off of those. We were just up there in my propagation area. I've got hundreds and hundreds of cuttings up there that we took this summer that are rooting. So again, great item. $4.97. Everybody else wants, at least, if it's in a 1 gallon, they want $7 or $8 for it. They're hard to find in a 1 gallon. Somehow this industry has decided that everybody should buy stuff either in a 2 gallon or 3 gallon container. That's just flat out nuts, if you ask me. If people want to buy a $5 plant, I'm going to sell it to them. You're going to sell it to them. All my other customers are selling it to them by the thousands. So how hard is it to sell these things? It's not. I only bought this property 3 years ago. We had to clear a bunch of land. Dustin and I started planting stuff here about 2.5 years ago. 2 years ago this spring. And so this fall, just 2 weeks ago, I ran an ad, and I had a bunch of people that I wanted to invited here. You know what? We sold, in one day, sold 2,000, either 400 or 600. I think it was 2,600, but I know it was at least $2,400. And most of it was small $4.97 plants. That was all to people who didn't know that we were here. Many of them drove 25, 30, 40, maybe even 50 miles to get here. It wasn't the people driving up and down the road. That's not how you get business. I teach people how to get business. And I got people who think I'm a genius because I invented some ways to find customers for plants. Well, you know what? I've been doing this a long time. So I found things that worked, things that didn't work, and I share that with my customers. So again, Blue Rock Juniper, hot seller at $4.97. Now this is a Green Giant Arborvitae. I bought these last fall from one of my customers. One of my customers down in Georgia. I bought these from her. $1.50 a piece. Sold a ton of them this spring at $4.97. We sold a bunch of them just the last weekend at $4.97. And we took cuttings. We took, I can't remember, I think we took at least 1,000 cuttings of these things. We have those up there rooting. So, and this arborvitae is Green Giant. This one is considered to be somewhat deer resistant, so people love that. I'm going to tell you a little secret about something like arborvitae. People never buy one. They always buy multiple quantities of arborvitae because they're looking to make a hedge. So Green Giant, Emerald Green, hot seller. So don't say I didn't give you any trade secrets here, because I'm telling you what sells, and I'm not even mentioning things that don't sell. This is the Green Mound Juniper. This is the ground hugging juniper, $4.97. And this thing works great because it only gets about that high. I put them underneath the Japanese maples in landscape. Beautiful, people love it. So anyway, I think that's basically I just wanted to share with you, some of the stuff that I bought from other customers, what my other customers are doing, how they sell them. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about how to take that one single flat that I showed you and start with that and grow that into a business any size you want. You can just do 1 or 2 flats and sell a few plants out that way. You can find customers all over the country. I got customers all over the world who want to buy plants from me. So, with the internet and people, the one thing that people want to buy, plants. They want to buy plants. Plants make them feel good. I love plants. When I was a kid, I never thought that I would have any interest in or any passion for plants, but I do. You're probably watching this video because you have a passion for plants. So, all right, let's go on to the final video in this series. I'm going to wrap this thing all up for you and show you how to really put it to work for you.